sense of direction of where you want this to go versus this kind of cold little boy inside where yeah. Open up one more time. Let's hear you too. And circle world, I'm still backed up in corners. Don't know if I felt this uncomfortable before. Screaming like a boy in California. I've been underwater for so long. Box my soul and sell it for a quarter. Don't know if I've ever spoken openly before. Screaming hallelujah, good performance. I've been singing to myself for too long. My ears ringing from the tune of this song. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh. I don't want no flatline, that's why I don't like the view from the backside. This could be my last time, no lie. If I shoot my shot, it could backfire. When you get that high, that's science. Eventually we all gon' capsize. I'm afraid of falling lately. I guess you could understand, that's why you feel my anxiety upon you. Don't know if you've heard it, but it's right there in the chorus. Screaming fuck the world out of my boredom. From writing all the same damn songs. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, oh. Here's to turning heads and turning corners. Don't know if I felt this uncomfortable before. I just know I'm really living for it. I'll get back with you before too long.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Good afternoon, good nights, good mornings. Let me go ahead and get the other music here set up. Once again, this is unplanned live streams. It's not going to be a daily thing. Unless it does. All right, there's no plan here. I've been in a streaming mood, so figured I keep it up for a little bit here. Just gonna keep talking while we're getting these next couple of albums in play. Which one I usually start with here? I don't think this one's been an opener. Let me go ahead and swap over. Oh, it's broken. Hold on. There we go. Excellent. Excellent. What's going on, guys? Armin? Finally, I caught the live. Finally, man. Had a good couple chances last couple of days. Usually there's, about a month or so between each one. So your chances are a lot higher nowadays. Twixie, What's going on? How you doing, man? Tron X. Hi, Kite. I'm here for the dog. Put the dog on the camera. Proof of life. No camera just yet. One, because I don't know where it's at. Two, look like trash. I gotta get my hair cut. I'm just too lazy to find it at the moment. I was redoing like the cable management around my desk, and I put it somewhere, and I don't quite know where. O10, what's going on? How you doing? Let's go ahead and cut into it, shall we? So, just like on the last live stream, the whole idea is kind of what I'm shooting for here. We talked about how Bitcoin, let's just start from the very beginning here, is in a giant ABC formation, which is not good for the bulls. All right, technically, all right, everything being said, we're bearish. All right, I don't want to hear no ifs, ands, or buts. All right, from a chart perspective, we're bearish right now. Now, like I said, I mean, there's a chance here. One, could it defy gravity and we just start pumping for no reason? Sure. You know, that can always happen. But not very likely at the moment, especially with the pattern that we have. All right. So as we came down in the structure, I was paying attention to the fact that we had an A to a B, and obviously we put in the C wave. But we have since then moved generously past the bottom of the A wave. So that kind of puts me in a position where I don't really want to go ahead and just enter on this ABC. I am going to be waiting for a larger structure if there is going to be one. Either one, it's going to save me the headache of trying to enter long when there is no long to be had. Or two, we dump from here, and once again, I don't waste my entries. So my idea is that, yes, I do think the market wants to go back up to the $109,000 region. So for anybody that has missed the opportunity to short in the first place, there will be another one, I think. We can hope, if we do happen to get back up to that region. All right. So with that being said, the next thing that we would look for is either, like I said, price action continues out of that. That might be an option there. We might put in a skinny A to B to C at the very, very top of this wave, which would still be a short position. But I do feel like the market wants to hang out here for a little bit. All right. If I was someone that had a lot of money, all right, how do you suck in liquidity to get your buys and your sells offloaded? Well, you have to make it sit at a range that's appetizing for the people to get in. So I do think we're going to go back up and retest. But after that, I do think we're going to continue dumping. Now, I don't think it's going to be a drastic dump here. All right. I do think we're going to put in this ABC position here or something similar. And I do think there possibly will be another larger test to the upside, even putting in a higher high than 112,000. Now, beyond that point, it's hard for me to say that we're going to continue breaking out. I will be shorting that again. All right. If we do happen to put in the higher high and then come back down below it, I'll just be re-entering my short position because I am looking at this as a possible fake out. I look at it from a chart perspective. I don't really look at ABCs or anything like that as like a fake out or some sort of manipulation tactic, but it is simple and easy to see that if we do have a breakout, there would be a lot of long liquidity. So if anybody is trying to get their money out of the market, that's what they're going to sell into, which is probably going to force price action back down below. And obviously when we're below resistance, people are less likely to buy in because they're hesitant, and then price starts dropping, and then it drops all at once. Usually what happens. So that's my idea, my thought process for BTC. Really nothing to talk about right now. It just means that probably over the next couple of days, maybe a week, we will be moving into this region once again, or at least coming back up and retesting, kind of this mid-range, and then finally maybe putting in the larger ABC position, which I will be taking a long off of. If we do see an ABC of this size, I'll be going ahead and trying to take the long position, because despite my inkling that things are going to be bearish, this size ABC is definitely a place where I don't want to mess around with an opportunity and miss out on it, because I definitely, you know, a lower chance could see us definitely pushing considerably higher than this resistance here. You know, I don't know if I necessarily believe in the 170K mark anymore, but maybe that's the trick, right? Maybe it's because we're no longer looking for it that it might happen. So once again, that's where I separate my feelings and my trades. All right, I'm going to take this long position, and if it goes, it goes. And I'm not just going to take profit willy-nilly. All right, I'm going to wait until I see it really, you know, take off. Yeah, let's take a look at Litecoin. No real development in Litecoin. Obviously, I'm looking for a macro ABC position around 107 for Litecoin, and then Ethereum. Very, very similar to BTC. It looks like we're going to get a leg up and then hopefully a leg back down. That will open up an opportunity for a long position, and then I think that might take us into putting in a higher high than 2,800. But once again, I am definitely a little bit more bear long term. But like I said, that's just me. I don't care. As long as we have the bullish structure, I will be in a bullish trade. But right now we don't have those. We only have bearish structures. So I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Would you take an ABC long if we were to fall below 103 right now? Like right now? No. I don't think so. No. Like I understand, like if you go to a smaller time frame, that yes, that is an ABC off of this local low here. We definitely have the separation of trend, but I don't think this is a large enough structure to really have an effect on price action. Now, if we got this size structure, or if we start zooming out here, that would be enough for me to really say that we can push past a significant resistance. All right, you can see with all the price action that we moved here, that came off of a very large ABC structure. All the price action to the downside came off of a very large ABC structure. And you can see even right here, we had A to B to C. And yes, we got pretty sizable price action off of it, but that still wasn't enough to cause a disruption and push past that recent high with any good development. So I need to see something a little bit better on a more medium level for me to really say that I want to be in a long that is hoping to push higher into the stratosphere. And for anybody that hasn't checked it out yet, if anybody's interested, Witcher 4 released their tech demo today. I'm sure many of the people that have seen it, that care about it, but it is out there, and it looks phenomenal. Now, issue being, is that going to be the actual gameplay that we get? You know, they claim that this is running on PS5 at 60 FPS, you know, the video that they're showing. But once again, this is a tech demo. It's, you know, intentionally cutting in and showing off the tech as it happens. So, still excited for the game nonetheless, even if it looks, you know, 10% less than that. I still think it would be phenomenal. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking in terms of price action here. I took the previous ABC that you've shown, but didn't hedge on the short ABC right after, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, that's just a learning lesson, right? You know, it's one thing to have a bias, but it's another thing to have something right in your face and you not take advantage of it. So I understand that when we were back here, there's probably a lot of hype, right? That this was going to continue into the larger, you know, numbers here, you know, 130, 140, 150. So you looked at this and you said, well, that's a valid ABC, and I want to get into a long position because I do think the market's going to continue going up. So then when you get a oppositional trade right in your face, you're less likely to take it. All right. Now, you could be saying the same thing about me where I have a short position here, but I'm not willing to take the long position that you mentioned at 103. What that has to do with the size of the structure, So, I mean, if we have a massive short structure versus my long, then I have to pay attention to it. If you use Opera browser, you don't have to have that annoying window error pop up on TradingView. I don't really mind it. You just click the X, and I'm going to be getting rid of it soon. I just really haven't had a need, to buy premium TradingView. One, I don't need the data. I don't need all of the bars because since I'm a higher time frame trader, I'm usually on like a 4 hour, a daily, maybe a 2 hour if I'm really trying to get interested in what's happening on the smaller time frame. But there's just no reason to purchase a $20 a month subscription. I'm sure we all got plenty of subscriptions running anyways. HBO, Netflix, whatever it might be. So, I mean, in the past, it was incredibly useful. One, because I had multiple indicators on multiple different charts, different time frames, and as well as that, the alerts. The alerts was the big thing. But once again, I don't really even need the alerts anymore. I need to put some eye drops in. Contacts are dry. Look at the SPY. Oh, the SPY is actually putting in a ABC top here. Something to be aware of. No, I mean, unless it's a pretty decently large structure, the SPY usually doesn't respect the ABCs as much. But when it does, it does. We had ABC top here. And that's coming off of the ABC here. And that led to some pretty decent price action. Hello, Prathish, my boy. How you doing? I was like, there's no way it's going to be that easy, right? It happens often with ABC. It looks so simple. Sometimes you think everyone is seeing it. That's something that I've learned over the many years of doing this, is that something so simple is the last thing that people will look for. Because they look at the market as such a complicated thing. And it is. There's a lot going on. Buy walls and sell walls and open interest and, industry injections, financial flow. It's a very complicated thing. So when there is something simple, it's usually the last thing to be seen. I know exactly how you feel, though. During the last bear market, that top at the very end of the bull market, same exact feeling. There's no way it's that easy. And it was. And I missed it. We caught the wave after, but could have had so much more. You think after this so-called biggest crypto conference, Bitcoin will go down? Sure, if it lines up with the chart. You guys know about me and like real world events are affecting the crypto chart. It really doesn't matter to me. You know, if the Bitcoin conference is responsible for pushing us back up to this resistance to create the B wave, and then obviously once it ends, if it dumps, more power to it. Pratheesh is cooler than Johnny, not gonna lie. Serini, thank you, man. I appreciate that. You've been really cool with the super chats lately, man. Thank you very much. And BK, good to see you too, man. Good to see you too. It's always nice to know that, you know, I can always count on, you know, the OGs showing up. I'm really waiting on the next major ABC for Apple. This was the last decent ABC for Apple. And I mean, this is just too much of a mangled mess for me to really pay attention to it. But we've showed off a couple times with Apple and how effective its ABCs are to the upside, but they only come every, you know, couple years. You know, the last one before this one here, this one was in 2022, basically 2023, you know, started 2023, and the last one was 2016 before that, and then we had all the way down here at the entry point would have been March of 2009. And then we had one here, 2006. And then we had one all the way back here in 2003. So, good couple entry points for sure. So, I'll see if we can collect another one. Any thoughts on BTC being correlated more than gold than SPY lately? More correlated with gold more than the SPY. I haven't really thought about that. I don't see it being correlated with gold, man. Gold's just been straight to the upside, whereas Bitcoin has not been. So, I don't necessarily see the correlation. But who knows? Hopefully it correlates to this and we're just lagging behind. But we'll see. Yeah, something to be aware of in the future. Serini, how you doing, Kite? I'm doing good, man. How are you? Honestly, it's been a mental wreck past like 72 hours. Me and the friend group, we are struggling to find something to play. It just seems like the state of multiplayer gaming right now is in such shambles, at least from our perspective. Because you think of it, like, our friend group has been together for years, so we've played pretty much everything under the sun. So to find something that's really like drawing our interest is awful. You know, we've gone back and we've played Fortnite. We've played... man, let me get the list out here. We've played PUBG. We've played... bring up Steam here. We tried Trove. I played Escape from Duckov, which I still actually No, and don't mind this, all right? This is a meme, okay? This is not a real game. I'm not one of those gamers, all right? But it's a fun game. But I tried this game today, and it's actually pretty cool. Um, Obviously, like I guess I'm into baby games, but the art style I like. I like the shadows and the volumetric lighting and all that. I'm a sucker for graphics, but it's if anybody's played Zero Sievert, which is a game that my friend Monk really liked. This game right here, it's a free demo actually. The game is not out yet, but if you guys want something to try out, you can try out Escape from Duckov, which the demo seems to be a good couple hours long. So you can try that out. I haven't tried this one yet. This is Jump Ship. We got that downloaded. I've been playing Witchfire, but that's a solo player game. We got Chained Together, Splitgate 2 beta, Steel. We've tried to play so many games over the past couple of days. Just nothing is sticking. You know, I download it, I play a couple games, and it's like, I don't want to waste my time on this. Brooksy said, you still on KDA? I still have some, but not for the most part. Like I said, I kind of lost faith that the bull market is going to continue in the way that I thought it was. You know, I didn't ever expect anything extravagant. There was people calling for $300,000, $400,000, $500,000. I never saw that as a real possibility, so I was shooting for about $170,000. And even then, I thought that KDA could follow in a pretty great way. But with how the market behaved and how I think it's still going to behave, it's hard for me to, one, talk about it on stream because I don't want to get too many people involved with something and have them come back and yell at me when obviously we try to promote a good way of looking at things in terms of risk to reward and properly sizing our bets. But there's always going to be somebody that throws way too much money at something just because they trust me more than somebody else. So I try not to talk about it too much, not from like a shady perspective, but because, once again, my words carry weight. And if I continue to promote something, not intentionally, but rather just talk about it, people are more likely to mess with it. I just don't want any blood on my hands. That's all. CS 1.6 never disappoints. If I was going to play CS, I'd probably play CS 2. I mean, you're talking to a CS gamer right now. All right, that was my game. For sure. I have 4,500 hours in Counter-Strike, CSGO. And then probably, 1,000 of that is CS2. I'm a CS gamer. But it's just like after so many, I don't understand how these professional players, have 12,000 hours in the game, even before they get signed by a team. And then obviously thousands of hours after that. Like, I just could not see myself doing that. Unless I just have one, a real dream of becoming a CS pro, and a lot of drugs, that would probably get me there. But there's only 24 hours in a day, and that takes a lot of days. Gaming is at all-time lows. They make you play this lame Marvel Rivals gaming era all the time. I don't think Marvel Rivals is a bad game. I really don't. I think it's actually a breath of fresh air. But once again, at some point, you do have to take a break. I have 1,000 hours in Marvel Rivals. I really like the game. But once again, it's just you can't play the same thing over and over again without getting somewhat bored. And I would argue that 800 of those hours are on Adam Warlock. Pretty good Adam. That was before the buffs. All right, once he got the buffs that he got, I was rocking and rolling. But by that time, I was already starting to fade away from the game. And I'm sure I'll go back at some point, just like how, CS2, I went back for several, 100, if not 1,000 hours later on. But like something's got to click in my brain in order to go back to that. Do you know RuneScape? Just never been a fan of RuneScape. I just never, it's just not something I'm attracted to, And I'm sure a lot of these games that I fail to give a chance might actually be good, but it's hard to get my foot in the door. That's all. Have you seen OSRS? I have not. I recognize the name, but I don't, like, when I think of it in my head, there's no, old school RuneScape. Okay. Yeah, I just don't think that's the game for me, man. I played Last of Us after watching the TV series, the updated ones. They're actually cool within the series, though. Yeah, I mean, that's the general consensus, right? Especially after season 2. And don't get me wrong, like, I'm a sucker for, Sony's games. I don't think there's been a single bad single-player experience from Sony. You think about God of War, Ghost of Tsushima, Horizon, Forbidden West, Days Gone, Ratchet and Clank. Every single one of their games are just absolutely fantastic. But once again, I'm trying to find games to play with my friends. I play World of Warcraft 3 and Dota 2. Never got into World of Warcraft 3, but or Dota. But I mean, I played a lot of League of Legends, and I know that there's the ongoing feud on which one is better. To me, it's just the one that I picked up when I was young, so that's what I got attached to. I haven't played it in many, many years. And that's the issue with the really good online service games, that once you give it a good period of time, it's insanely hard to go back. Because one, I forgot pretty much everything there is about League. You know, how to make a good build and, just the general mechanics of the game. But on top of that, because they are good at making League of Legends or stuff like it, you come back and there's like 40 other characters, and just it's so daunting to like be like, all right, I'm gonna learn all their move sets and their counters. Like, it's just, oh god, I can't find myself putting in that much effort. Eight hours a day for 4 years in my high school. That was pretty much me with CSGO. It was pretty much come home from school, play CS, maybe a couple other games here and there, PUBG maybe. And yeah, good times, really good times. You just don't think about it until it's gone. Arc Raider seems pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, I've taken a good look at it. And I signed up for the last play test, but unfortunately I didn't get in. So hopefully in this next play test, I'll get a ticket and I'll be able to try it out for myself. But yeah, I mean, it just sucks, man. We all sit in a Discord call and we're all just twiddling our thumbs, shooting ideas back and forth, and it just seems like nothing is decent. I got plenty of games that, are single player that I can always go back to. And obviously I'm really looking forward to going back to in just a little bit, just go test out all the new hardware and stuff. But it's just the issue of trying to find stuff to play with friends. And even when we do find something that sounds appetizing, it's 3-player, it's 3-player squads maximum. Delta Force, that's 3-player squad maximum. For the extraction mode, at least. There was another game that we were looking at. I forget, my friend suggested it, but it looked good. And then it was 3-player only. All right, Kite. Last game I recommend. Classic Maple Story. Is Maple Story like Stardew Valley? I don't know what happened. There's something that happens when your brain, when you're like introduced to like high fidelity games and stuff like that, where it shifts your mindset. You just can't go back. Like I know those games are good. I bought Stardew Valley. It's in my library. I just never gave it a chance because I just can't really. I don't know. But like on Game Boy Advanced, I played the hell out of Harvest Moon. PoE 2, the biggest letdown ever. Yeah, I got the beta key for it, so I've had it in my library for a couple months. First off, it was me trying to like give it a chance. So I just didn't get attached to the game in the first place. And I'm hearing how bad it is. A lot of my friends are going back and playing PoE 1. So, Twixie, you said you ever tried Rust? Oh, have I tried Rust? Absolutely. I don't have like the most amount of hours in Rust. I think I got like 1,200 hours. But yeah, I've definitely put in a lot of time into Rust. And I mean, they've had so many updates since I've been going. So it's one of those situations where like, part of me wants to go try it out again. But like, you know, there's so many people that are going to have so much more knowledge of what's happening and where to go and how to optimize. You know, Rust is one of those games of, because it wipes, people become meta gamers. And I'm the last person that's going to like yell at someone for being a meta gamer. All right. But it's just a situation of like, it's not easily approachable. You have people that load into wipe day with no blueprints, and by the 4-hour mark, they are in full armor, running around with Thompsons, already knocking down doors. It's just, I mean, it used to be me that was doing that, but now, like I said, there's so much that's changed about Rust. I don't know where to start, man. I would really have to go into a server where I could take my time. Maybe it's one of those things where you just gotta fail, I guess. You gotta get your house blown up in order to learn. The last time I gave Rust a full chance, I went in with the mindset of like, I know I'm going to be crap at PvP because things have changed so much. And I'm not going to try to rush, the progression and try to get to AKs and all that kind of stuff so I can compete. I was like, I'm going to make a berry farm. And I did that the entire wipe. And, I had a lot of fun with it. And, I made some friends, and by being the berry farmer and just selling stuff to clans around me. And they didn't mess with me because they knew that I was supplying good stuff. And there's all that stuff with like, it's sending alerts to your phone, and I don't know where to start with all that. It's such a goddamn waste of time. Because PoE 1 was so much better, so sad. Let me go check my friend Morgan's profile. Because my friend Morgan is the PoE player. Let's see here. Because he's the one that was really encouraging me to play PoE 2. My friend Morgan actually doesn't have that many hours on PoE 2. That's kind of representative of how bad it might be. He only has 228 hours on PoE 2. Let me check his. So on Path of Exile 1, my friend Morgan has 2,168 hours. Yeah, he really likes that game. Once again, BK, I'm so sorry that I can't get behind your suggestions. I'm a brain dead gamer. I'll admit it. I like shooting things. I like story games, but there's just certain games that like just don't call to me. And I'm sorry that we got a different taste, man. But I do thank you for the recommendations. I thank you for trying to help me out in my quest to quench my brain thirst. I tried it out again, really liking the electricity system. Oh, are you at that part? You said lots of tryhards. Yeah, I mean, that's just Rust for you. They've always been there. But once again, like the more and more time you spend away from it, the more, you know, that gap builds. There's just so much more meta knowledge on like how to get a massive amount of scrap day one or whatever it might be that you just aren't privy to. I still remember converting my 1K to 6K using ABC in October or November in 22 into Doge. Still the ABC works. I know that you don't like Dogecoin though, but luckily I made more profits on Doge. Any way you can get it, man. You know, I'm not opposed to these things, but obviously being, you know, not to, I make myself sound more important than I am, but like being some sort of figurehead, a talking head, I just don't like to really give those things attention, because if anybody joins my stream that is newer, I just don't want them to get burnt. You know, if you know how to use ABCs, you know how to position your risk and, you know, play things safely, I mean, you can go ahead and apply it to anything, but there's a lot of new people that like to watch my stuff that I just don't want to point them in that direction. Do you trade using stop orders? If so, what exchange allows stops other than Coinbase? I mean, most exchanges, I'm sure Kraken does as well. Because I think I've set up stop losses on Kraken before. At least their version of their pro. If you're talking about spot exchanges, I've only ever used Coinbase and Kraken. When I was first getting into crypto, when I was like 15 or 16, I think, I was using Gemini, but I closed my account shortly after because they had a function on there where they would buy the BTC, but then I thought I had money in my account and it drew it, but it didn't. So I just never fulfilled the account. GTA seems nice. You know, it's just one of those things where it's a thing of principle. One, I never like really got into like the grind of GTA 5 online or any of the role-playing servers. I was just kind of a story guy. I really liked the story of GTA 5. I liked messing around and modding it. But like, that game has been out since I was 12 or 13. I think I was in 8th grade, maybe even 7th grade when GTA came out. So yeah, I just rather wait for GTA 6. And what sucks is it's gonna take another extra year for it to come out on PC, and I am not buying a console just for GTA. I've done it in the past for certain games, and I always end up selling my console because I just don't use it. I did it for God of War Ragnarok. You know, and it allowed me to get introduced to a lot of cool games that weren't available on PC yet, like Ghost of Tsushima and Horizon Forbidden West. But obviously, at some point, those come to PC, and hopefully, it gets faster and faster in the future. Which YouTubers are your favorite? Are you talking specifically crypto YouTubers? Or are you talking like just YouTubers overall? There's no YouTubers that I specifically go to YouTube to watch. I mean, I used to watch a lot of MXR plays, but they got booted off of YouTube. I usually just go on my homepage and just kind of click on stuff. Leon Lush, I usually watch him a lot. A lot of tech YouTubers. Like, even though like I haven't really been set on an upgrade or anything, obviously Linus. I like to keep up to date on the news, usually through UFD Tech. Yeah, there's nobody that like I specifically launch YouTube to go and watch. Usually if I'm going to go watch something, I'll just kind of doom scroll P-Stream. Pstream.org, shout out. Greeny, see you, buddy. Have a good night, a good morning. I appreciate you stopping in. He said, I hope GTA 6 will be available on PC day one. It won't be. Even with the delay, it won't be. I think they've already confirmed that. It's going to be at least a year difference. That's what I meant. LBank only allows limit orders. I don't believe that's true, is it? Well, no, they allow market orders. I just don't. I don't think LBank has conditional market stops, but you can set up a stop loss that is on market. BK said, you seen the ABC pattern for BTC dominance? We were actually just looking at that. I had it up on my chart just a second ago. What's the ticker for? Wasn't it BTC.D? Yeah. Go. Oh, I see. Yeah, we had the ABC top there, coming back up, retesting resistance. We got it here. Yeah, we'll see how that works out. I mean, it depends on what ABCs you're trading. If you are trading smaller time frames, I can see how that might become an issue. But once again, in my opinion, the R&R is so high. I never really stressed about the market fees. But yeah. So what's ETH doing? Oh, looks like it might be taking a little bit of a tumble here. I don't think it's anything to stress over. Let it work itself out in the smaller time frames, and we'll see if we get what we're looking for. We won't be on too much longer here, maybe like another 5 or 10 minutes. I told my friend that I would only be going for about 45, and now we're here at 49 minutes. I should actually tell you about prop firms. I know that they are for people who gain profits constantly. Don't get me started again, Pradesh. Don't get me started. No, I'll go on a tangent, and then we'll be here for another 2 hours. These do add up very quickly when using small stop loss. Yeah. Like I said, I haven't really felt the impact of that in a very long time now. So I've since transitioned to 2 to 3%, 1% smallest, but yeah, I can see it if you're using, you know, 0.25, 0.5% stop losses, how that can be an issue. So, Kite, you trade exclusively limit and market orders? I would say I am pretty much exclusively market orders because like my strategy is real time. So, obviously, if we are bumping back above after putting in a lower low, I'm entering. You know, sometimes if I'm at the chart, I can try to go with limit, but sometimes it's just not possible. Either that or I'm setting up conditional market orders with stop losses in case I'm away from the chart. So that's a market order in itself. So I would say I'm exclusively market orders for the most part, 98% of the time. Yeah, I did hear about that, Pratish. Just another one of these reasons I don't trust them. You don't have an issue with slippage? No, not on Bitcoin. If you're trading like a really low liquidity altcoin, yeah, you will deal with slippage. But Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, any of the big names, usually these exchanges have enough liquidity where slippage is a non-issue. And even if there is, it's very slight, not noticeable. Still with an error of margin. Yeah, Pratish, we had a whole conversation yesterday on just prop firms. You're never gonna sell me on the idea of a prop firm. You know, I know Johnny had his spout with prop firm and stuff like that. Prop firms are there to sell you hopes and dreams while profiting off of it. It's not conducive to an actual trader. You will do much better if you are patient and you grow your account properly. I know it sucks. I know is not an answer a lot of people want, but prop firms are just, they're not a good idea. Almost reaching the end here. Another 4 minutes. So if anybody wants any questions answered, any specific coins, let me know. Otherwise, we'll be signing off here fairly shortly. But going back to scratching my head, trying to find a game to play, and hitting the hay eventually. My sister got a new cat yesterday, and this is the reaction. So she got a little black kitten, and it's doing the Halloween stance. And then this is the reaction of the older cat. Like, why did you bring this thing in the house? This one's name is Nova, and she named this one Luna. Like I said, it's not that prop firms are fake. It's that they are lying to you. The money you're paid out with is not money that's made from a trade. It's made from the dead corpse of the trader who tried to get in before you. So there's prop firms that can manage their money well to pay out people, you know, to a certain extent. Trust me when I say this, if you are making too much money from a prop firm, they will just remove you. It doesn't matter how big the prop firm is. If you're exceeding a limit where you're going to put them in a bind, they might pay, you know, if they're nice, they might still pay you out a portion of what you're owed, but they won't pay it all. So like, yeah, if you're able to get, you know, a couple thousand out of a prop firm, sure. But if you're thinking about making $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a year off of a prop firm, it's not going to happen. And if there's a YouTuber that's showing you that, either one, the account's fake, or they are making themselves so much money for the prop firm that they're allowed to pull that out without getting their account taken away. So yeah, they might be pulling out $20,000 of winnings from a prop firm and showing it on video, but they've made that prop firm probably $100,000 in affiliate fees. So to them, it's just the cost of business. So if you understand the name of the game that you're playing in, sure, I guess you can take that chance. But in my opinion, you know, if you have $500, good 5 or 6 swing trades, which, yeah, a good 5 or 6 swing trades might take you 6 months to a year. But that 500 is going to turn into a couple thousand. And then the next year, that couple thousand might turn into 10, 20, 30. And then the year after that might turn into 100, 200. And the year after that, yeah, you might bump it up to 300. And then the year after that, maybe you have a good year. Now you're up to 500. And you keep working at it. This is not an easy, fast process. All right? It's faster than most. But it's, if you do it correctly, you're still going to be spending time. So, to me, I'd rather have full agency rather than, you know, messing with a prop firm that can screw me at any turn. It's not the same as trading, though, right? With trading, yes, you are making profit from the person who failed to sell or failed to buy, but that's not the same thing as a person that had hopes and dreams, threw $60 in to take a challenge and failed the challenge, and now the prop firm owns that money until somehow someone is lucky enough to pass through that test. It's not the same thing. Completely different. One is a business, the other is a fact of life, just something that happens regardless. Somebody has to walk away with less. It's a zero-sum game. But with a prop firm, there is no real trading happening. You're trading a real chart in real time, but they're not actually putting trades on the board. You're not making actual money for the prop firm. They've already made the money. You're just playing a mini game. So, I mean, that's as much as I'll say. Like I said, there's people that don't want to hear that because they have this idea that they're working for a company and that they're doing a good job, but really all you're doing is playing a mini game. That's all you're doing. So, like I said, if you understand what you're doing, not just in terms of trading, I'm talking about in terms of what you signed up for, and you're under no false impressions, then yeah, you want to go try a look at it. Do you think that the $111,000 can be the top for this bull cycle? The ABC was formed, and I feel it would go higher, but I would like to remove any emotions from my trades. Yeah, you're 100% correct. This could be the top, and that's why I took the short position. And I'm not going to remove that short position unless, you know, we come down here and then come back up and do one of these. All right, then I'll go ahead and exit that short position and enter the new one down here. But I'm not letting go of this short because this could be the top. All right. So is that going to prevent me from taking the long position if we do get a good structure? No. But the ABC is there. And we know many, many times before, we've had it happen where we take the trade and we let go of it too early. Not making that mistake. Yeah, so I mean, Pratish, I mean, you're right if you're making a small amount per month, but once again, 3 to 4% on a $5,000 account is nothing special. But let's say you grew that account to 200,000, and now you're making 3 to 4%. 3 to 4% of 200,000 is not a shy number. All right, so they'll start making their way on you if you're costing them money. Yeah, I wouldn't say it would be a bad idea. Maybe not all of your stack, but getting rid of some of it would not be a bad idea. Not financial advice, but when we have an ABC like this, you want to get out towards the top. All right, guys. I think it's time for me to head off here. Been on here for about an hour and 6 minutes. Told my friend I would only be 45. So I gave you guys a little bit extra time. I appreciate everybody showing up. Once again, I don't know if I'll be here tomorrow. All right. I've been in the streaming mood, so we'll see. But once again, there's nothing special happening with price action. The trade is in place, and we do have an idea of what we want next. But it's going to take a bit to work itself out. So I appreciate everybody being here, and I might see you tomorrow, more than likely, but don't count on it. Probably around the same time, late night, Eastern Standard Time, just to say hi and catch up. But yeah, hopefully everybody has a good night, good morning, good day, and I'll see you when I see you, all right? Let's go ahead and choose something for the outro here. Let's see. A little bit of Good Die Young never hurt. All right, guys. AS, you have a good night as well. Armin, I'll see you later, buddy. Pratish, please tell Johnny to stream. He's more lazy than you now. No, he's been doing good, man. He's been working. He's got a business to run. I'll let him know you said what's up, though. Twixie, thank you for being here. I wouldn't be streaming if you didn't show up. Tron X, come back tomorrow. Just do it. Camera, snacks, and the dog. I'll try, man. I'll try. All right, guys. You have a great night. Good morning. And I'll see you soon. All right. You guys have a good one. Bye.
Told you not to fuck with the blue-eye bandit. Inbox slider like a 2-bite sandwich. Got your bitch scrolling in the poolside hammock. Chain could've taken down a new Titanic. The jewels gigantic. Sweating in the sauna like woosah. Been dripping like a summer out in Tucson. Still ripping like a winter out in Utah. Sticking out like RuPaul. Riding around Sioux Falls. Pull up in that two-tone. Calling in. Hit it twice like a motherfucker took a mulligan. Hey, you say I could've been, should've been. Yeah, man, you would've been, except you wasn't good as shit. Could've been a sinner or a saint. Chose horns over halos. Woke up in the same clothes. Am I getting in or is the gate closed? You a day late, you know how the saying goes. If the good die young, I'ma live a long time, like a real long time. I'm a bad man, a real bad man. Should've pulled the trigger when you had the chance. I'm gone, jet lag, setback, different time zone. Too much Adderall, you get the Dow tone. Stocked up, drive fast, and I crash like the Dow Jones. You can trade a diamond for a rhinestone. Play it back, there's a needle in the haystack. Monterey Jack cheese, be a rat and chase that. Never pay the bank back till you lay flat. Take it with you and they take it from you in estate tax. If the good die young, I'ma live a long time, like a real long time. I'm a bad man, a innocent or a saint, chose horns over halos, woke up in the same clothes. Am I getting in or is the gate closed? You a day late, you know how the saying goes. If the good die young, I'ma live a long time, like a real long time. I'm a bad man, a real bad man. Should've pulled the trigger when you had the chance. If the good die young, I'ma live a long time, like a real long time. I'm a bad man, a real bad man. Should've pulled the trigger when you had the chance. Should've pulled the trigger.